Hello, welcome to my gearing guide video. This video is going to be a little bit different. This is going to be an overview of what I recommend people to look out for when trying to gear their character because I've been getting a lot of requests for it. I will be showing this person's gear on the screen now and be showing you their stats, and this is what I would recommend for them to change. They need help on killing mobs, so this is me in a sense. If I was them with their gear, this is what I would be doing in order to help them out. So currently they are level 44. I would personally start looking and seeing around gears around their level, around 43, give or take, would be the best bet. Currently, I know their armor piece is very, very good in the sense that I enhanced it earlier for them. It's currently level 47. They are using a gesture coin. The gesture coin is not bad, it's not the worst, but there is a better item with Chieftain's Buckle Belt. So that's one thing I would start looking into. With this person here, we can start looking into things of that nature. Another one would be their face accessory. That face accessory is very out of date for their character, and I would recommend start changing that out as well. So for me, I would start looking and seeing the first as a face accessory. A good one would be a negotiator at level 40, so I would buy them a negotiator, and we can start seeing from there. So the next thing would be maybe a hat for a headgear piece. They are currently level 44, so something around that level. 4 luck, 6 stamina isn't bad, but this one is at 46, which is in 2 levels, which isn't bad. But the thing is that 45 is a very high struggling point for some players because of how much EXP do you need. So I would rather go with the 43 hat or maybe going with the 42 hat. But currently the 42 hat is a bit expensive, so I'd rather go with the 43 hat. Next up would be their pants. Pants would be a very good change of pace. A decent one would be these waterproof or the fashionable city trousers. Currently, there's no non-slotted ones that I can get for them, so I'd rather save the money at the moment. So next up, what we can look at is maybe an amulet and see what else there is. Currently, there's a quadrifoil, which isn't bad, but it's 500,000, and we're trying to save them a little bit of money. I do know there's a nice forest pendant one that's not bad of an amulet to use, but currently there's only the one for 4.5 million, which is very, very expensive. So at the moment, they'd be keeping the same amulet for now. Another upgrade that they can do would be a ring. Rings aren't necessarily always needed to be swapped out, as I've used low level rings plenty of times while leveling up. So currently there's not that many rings that are in affordable price range for them to start gearing. A decent one would be the Alice rings, but even Alice rings are a bit expensive at 700,000, 400,000, and things of that nature. So I would start looking, seeing on the next item over. A good item over would be the next one would be the boots. So we can start looking at the footwear. Footwear, we can start seeing decent ones would be the lace boots. They're not bad boots at all, especially because they give you movement speed. Another ones would be the Decamon boots because of the stamina and dexterity being nice. Another one would be the sheriff boots because they give you percent max HP. I would personally rather get the sheriff boots and see if I can get them one of those, which is not too bad, especially for 250 for a slotted. They could easily seal this and see what seal they keep, and then they can sell it for future. Or they can keep with the lace boots and go with something like this and get a little bit of extra running speed and maybe get a running speed seal. But I would personally just go with like lace boots if they were a little bit lower level, but since now they're level 40, or I would rather go with something with the deck one and get them a little bit more stamina. So we can get them those. So we have 3 gear pieces that can work and help them out on that. Gear is always an ever-changing thing, so depending on how it is, it can always change on how good or bad things can go. So now we're going to go over to sealing the gear pieces. We're going to try and look and see if we can get a seal of solidity for them and give them a little bit bonus in defense, as they only had 2,000 defense. So we're going to start sealing the negotiator. We don't care of it being personal because we need them with a good seal for that. This is a perfect seal, so we're going to keep this seal because we want a defense seal. So we're going to go on to the next set. Jolly Roger, it's not the worst, but it's not the best. I'd rather give them more defense, personally speaking, because they need a little bit of survivability or a little bit more dexterity, as they should be swapping over after. So running speed's a good seal, but we don't need that. As again, we're going to be trying to swap over. Tortola, it's not a bad seal, but we'd rather have more defense at the moment, as they need to survive a little bit more hits, and either that or swap over to a dexterity build and get more dodge. either or can work. It just varies on the person and their playstyle. For me personally, I would rather go with a solidity seal and see what we can get for them, or a meatler seal or whatever's kind of seal. A Sand Cocoon isn't the worst seal, but the 2% HP isn't really going to help out that much compared to other ones. So we're just going to keep re-rolling. If you do not understand how the re-rolling works, is you're going to be needing one blood vessel and a wax if you want to enhance the seal that you have to a greater one, or you can just use the one blood crystal, which we rolled exactly into the seal that we want. So now we're going to go on to the next pair of boots. These pairs of boots, we'd rather keep it with the base seal. This is perfect. We can keep it as this, and we don't have to change it, realistically speaking, because a lot of people would want that seal on the lace boots, but this one is perfectly fine as well because it gives them that running speed, and it's a seal that they can later sell on these boots at a later time. So now we have exactly what they can get and use for the time being on those senses. So now what we can do is we can try and enhance these to a +5 or a +6 is realistically what we're wanting, because they need to get a health bonus from the gear pieces. So currently right now, if we use Ashalot cubes, they only give us defense bonus at level, I believe, 6 is when we get the increased health. My apologies, sorry. Let's see. +4, +5, we don't get the bonus HP, so we need to hit +6 in order for them to get a little bit more HP. So it's a 50-50. It would be the very best thing to do is just try and get up to +6 as it becomes a 30%, and that's kind of gamble. I wouldn't do it. I would just stick with the +6 and call it a day. Now let's see what we can get them here. Hopefully we can get this with the Ashclots we have right now, or else I have to go and grab some that I have on another character, and that's an annoying process to do. And then 50-50, let's hope we can get this very easily. Unfortunately not. This is just how it goes when enhancing gear, so don't be frustrated. Everybody goes through it. It really does suck, as I just lost 3 50-50s in a row. It's just a portion of the game. It sucks, but it's the way it's designed, and we can't do much about it. There are ways to make it easier and more enhanced, but at the moment we're not wanting to spend too much money and time onto the gear, in the sense that they will be replacing it once they start hitting the level 50, because that's when the better gear pieces start dropping and replacing their gear. Let's see here. Hopefully, we do not have enough seal. Ashlot cubes. Aisha, let me see. I think I can use these, but these are personal. I'm not sure if it makes the gear personal for using these. That's something I'm not exactly sure on. It will become personal when used. Always make sure you read what you hear when you start enhancing gear, because you do not want to make things personal by mistake. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go get more ash cubes. So now that we have more ash cubes to work with, we can start enhancing those pieces of gear back again to try and get them a +5 boots, +6 boots. Again, is always the goal, because you always want that little bonus of HP. As you can see here, they got 80 health, 90 health, and we can see how much we can get. So currently, let's see. So you can see how much HP you're going to get if you hover over the +6. You can already start seeing the improvement of it. Hopefully we can get it first try, and unfortunately not, we do not. It's just how the game goes, but it's just how the game is. Hopefully with a bit of RNG, you can get the gear that you need. So this would roughly make some pieces of gear for them. Depending on them, they can swap out more pieces. It's all preference, person to person. Some people like swapping out gear pieces every 10 levels. Some people like swapping it out every 5 levels. Some people can even keep them for 20 levels, as I've kept gear from level 45 at times. For me personally, I had a level 35 armor, and I used it until level 57 because I was able to get away with it with how I was playing the game. Personally speaking, I would recommend always going for, like, say, defense seals, because they can help you with leveling and help you survive a little bit longer. Depending on class, you would want to go more into dexterity seals to try and get dodge. A certain dodge can get you to where you can be almost invulnerable / invincible, to say. It's all preference and playstyle wise. As some classes get more dodge than others, some get more healing than others, some get more shielding than others. It's just all preference. This would kind of roughly give out exactly what I'm talking about in, like, saying for future gearing. You can kind of keep this in mind and see what you can do with it. For me, this is what I'd be using and swapping out. Another thing I would be swapping out would be, say, that artifact. I did not buy that artifact, so I should be buying them that artifact. So this is another thing I would do next. So artifact for rogues is going to be that Chieftain's belt. So this one's going to be perfect. So let's go seal that one next, and we can see exactly how we can get it. And this one, we could get away with, say, having more of a stat than an actual defense seal, but it'll be all just random in the end. So this one isn't bad, but we'd rather have it with something else a little bit more useful. 1% running speed isn't going to make too much of a difference. 3 stamina isn't bad. It can work in their favor, but I think, like I said, I'd rather give them more defense. They have enough HP at the moment. The 20 luck isn't bad, so we can see, the 3 luck isn't bad, so we can see on that. But like I said, more defense is my personal opinion on it, or especially leveling. Another one could be attack. Attack wouldn't be the worst, but at the moment, I'd just rather have them have more of a chance of surviving. So now what we do is we can just hit +6 on this, or we can just keep it base. It all varies personally, person to person. But this is what I would just do in my view of playing this thief on doing the gearing. The next thing I would swap out for sure would be probably the armor piece, because the armor piece next is going to be a big swap, as I believe they're rocking the level 37 one or 42 one. So the next one they can look into is going to be this armor piece right here, and try and see if they can +6, +7 this piece, would be my personal recommendation, which I think we should buy them for now, so they can swap this out, and they can rock that gear piece until they can hit levels of 60 and use that gear piece. So let's go back and enhancing this. This one, again, we can personalize this one because they are going to be using this, and we don't really care too much if it's going to become personal, because it's not a slotted gear or a gear piece that a lot of people are going to be using to some degree, and it's just going to be, like I said, a filler gear to say, something we can just get rid of. So 4 stamina isn't the worst. In total, it gives you 9 stamina for just equipping this armor piece with 1% running speed and 2 strength. This one would be a good seal that you can keep on this. So I would personally just keep this one because of just how much stamina it gives you. And then I would just, again, hit +6 and try and enhance this gear to this and this gear over, and then just hand them over that gear and see what we can get their stats too. Let's go see. Hopefully it's not too much of an issue to enhance this gear, but if it does, then it'll be annoying, but it's fine. In the end, they're going to be wearing this gear and using this gear for leveling, and I'd rather have my guildies progress and have an easier time than struggling, trying to figure out what to do and what to change out, because a lot of the times, it's not always going to be the gear, it's sometimes going to be the skill and how you have the talents. Talents will be a very, very high change of how you play the game and how you grind the mobs. For example, my hunter builds, it made farming so much easier for a lot of the hunters that I've been teaching because of it being an AoE trap build, and that let them be with a lot worse gear, in the sense that they would only have +4, +3 gear, but they would have a really good weapon because they would just kill all the mobs before they can even get to them. So this is just personally what I would be doing and looking out for. Like I said, for say Dark Knight, you would want more damage because you are tanky from healing, so you would want to focus more on your weapon than your armor. If you want to get some armor, you could just go for flat defense like some of these heals are. It all varies on you. And then this will be coming to an end once I hit +6 on this, and that's kind of like my overview of how I would gear out if I was that thief in the shoes of newer players. And always try and keep an eye on how much gold you're spending, because it might be very, very expensive. I would personally recommend trying to hit +6 first on your armor pieces, then try and go for seal after. And after that, you can see what you can work on after. Like I said, main thing is always going to be focusing on your weapons and then seeing that.